Hello students, how are you all? Hope you all are fine. So today we are going to learn how to write a writing skill, that is story writing. Now in the lower classes we used to write a story based on the given outline, but now we'll study how to write an story when given a beginning or an end. So let us see what are the ways of writing an effective story writing. Now, first of all, what should be the length of the story? Now, the length of the story should be not more than 1.5 pages. The student will be given the starting line or the ending line, that is the beginning or the ending. It has to be started with or ended with that line. Accordingly, do write anything before or after. So when it is given the beginning, you will continue the story after that, and when the ending is given, you will write the story, the beginning, and then conclude the story with the ending given. The student should give a title. Now here, title in a story is of utmost importance. If possible, if a story has certain moral, then moral should be also mentioned there. Title: Strange Encounters in the Dark. Now, how the title should be? The title should be eye-catching, or it should be as such that a reader should get the idea about what the story is. Have a clear and definite idea of the plot of the story. Clear and definite idea of the plot of the story. It should not go in a hush-hush manner. It should be very clear, precise, and in an order. Wherever possible or whenever possible, use direct speech in the story. Now, direct speech, usually whenever we are writing a story, we write down a story in a past tense. Correct? But here, in some of the cases, okay, where you cannot avoid using direct speech, at that time the same quotation or the same words can be used. Then create 2 or 3 characters only, and the situation should be natural and striking. Whenever you are framing a story, you should not have more than 2 or 3 characters, and the situation should look real, okay, not fictitious, natural and striking. So these tips you are supposed to follow when you are writing a story. Let us see one example. Write a story beginning with, "It was late one night when I heard a loud thud." So this story, just go through how it is being framed and then what the story contains. In this manner, when you all go through, you can frame your own story accordingly based on the incident, and then you can write down the story. Just one thing you have to remember in the mind is, when you are writing a story, now here already the beginning is given. Write a story beginning with. So that means the opening statement will be what? The opening statement will be same as it is. It was late one night when I heard a loud thud. Similarly here, the same sentence you'll write down and then you are going to continue. Then title. Title C. Title is also important. Now in some of the stories which you are framing, there the moral is not possible because it is the real fact which had occurred with you. So you cannot expect the moral here. But in the ending, where somewhere the lesson is being given for us, the moral is given for us, at that time you are supposed to write down the moral also. Otherwise, whenever it is based on certain incident, at that time you are not supposed to write the moral at all. But the title in both the cases, whether the beginning is given or whether the end is given, you're supposed to write down the title. Without the title, your story writing skill is incomplete. And the length, as I said, it should be not more than 1.5 page. And if you observe here in this, whatever the tenses are being used, it was, for example, I was sleeping, past tense. Obviously, whenever it is a story writing, we usually use this past tense only. But in exceptional cases where you cannot change the quoted speech or the direct speech, at that time only you are supposed to write down direct speech. Otherwise, if you observe here, everything is written in the past tense, and while writing a story as a writing skill in your paper, you are supposed to write down only in the past tense, and the story should move according to the flow, not haphazardly. So here, accordingly, the story is framed. Now, if you observe this, I felt too embarrassed to go to my parents' bedroom. What would they think if I tell them I am scared? Now, this statement they had written in a direct speech because this was exactly the thought of the speaker or the writer, because here it is mentioned I. So I is a first person pronoun. Now, when it had been started, it was late night. It was late one night when I heard. So, in this story, you're supposed to begin with I only. You have to mention I only because here the first personal pronoun is being used. So, whatever his thoughts were there, it has been written in the quoted marks. In some cases only, as I said, where it is required, there you can use the quotation mark, that is the same statement as it is. Now looking at this one, the ending of the story. Now the story here everywhere the word I is being used. So you have to take into account that when the opening statement personal pronoun is used, at that time you have to use I only. Just go through the story and then you'll get a idea about how to write a story. Now coming to the next one, where you get the ending statement or the concluding statement, also known as. At that time you will begin the story as you want, where you can have 2 or 3 characters, but there it depends upon you whether you are using the word I, that is a personal pronoun, or you're using your name, or you're relating any story, or you're narrating any story. That depends upon how you're writing a particular story. So here and then 2 examples are given. Write a story ending with God had rewarded Rohan's hard work. The trophy shown in his hands. That is, in this, ending is there. And in the next example, write a story beginning with it was a crumpled paper lying on the floor. Hopefully, Hari picked it up. So here you are supposed to complete the assignment in which the story is ending with this statement, and then in the second question the story is beginning with this statement, and then you are supposed to frame the story. And here also you can understand when the concluding remark is given, and here where the beginning statement is given followed by dash dash dash. Hope you all have understood how to write a writing skill based on given opening statement or the ending statement. You have to strictly follow the rules how to write down the story writing in an effective manner. I hope children you all have understood this topic very well. If you like my education channel, just like it and subscribe it. Thank you children and God bless you all.